Hi,
That
I'm
one.
Janice Perkins with Capacity, and I'm joined today by Jeff Nelson of Emberhope Youthville. He is the Director of Community Relations and Marketing. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing very good, thank you. We have known each other for a handful of years, not very many.
Yeah, we'll go with a handful.
We'll go with a handful, not quite.
Yeah, tell me what a handful is.
A couple.
Okay. Yeah, we've known each
Couple.
other a
That's
couple of years.
close.
Yeah.
That's close. And we've had a couple conversations recently, and I have some other nonprofit clients and conversations that all circle around the same thing. As a nonprofit, I just really thought you would have a unique perspective to give on what's going on in the climate today and how it's impacting nonprofits, and what are the positive outlooks that we can take from that. You know, part of all this conversation is how can we not talk about the noise, and how can we talk about something more productive. So any insight that you can give, and also I keep hearing from different people in the community now that they have this great time, right? To be a steward of it in a different way than just binging more shows on Netflix and doing yard work. You know, what can I do for my community? Where are there more needs that weren't before? So those are kind of areas I would love for you to speak to. You can kind of kick off in what direction you want, or I can guide the ship.
Okay. I know you can guide the ship. You've proven that many times. Um, I guess, we're not different than any other nonprofit organizations or anybody that depends on funding from the private sectors that people pulled in. I mean, we're reliant on private donors.
Mhm.
We're reliant on people that are watching the stock market, and
Mhm.
because of that, we've had some donors that have said, we need to pull back for a while. We're watching the stock market. Have literally said that because that these people, a lot of our donors currently are retired people,
Mhm.
and so they don't have the income
Right.
on a consistent basis like someone else would have. So it's coming in from other sources. One of the things that we thought was important was that we are heavily supported by churches. We're a faith-based organization, and we thought it was important to reach out to our churches that have been supporting us, and not to say, "Hey, this is the time to step up your giving," because churches themselves are having a little setback because they're the the hat's not going past them in church, and so they're relying on online giving too. And so they're in the same predicament kind of that we are. But we thought it was important just to reach out to them and let them know that truly that they're in our prayers. We're praying for their congregation, for their city, for their community, and ask them to pray for us too. Our girls on campus, we have a residential campus of 48 girls, and when we decided to suspend visitations to the campus, vendors from coming to the campus, well, one of the things that impacted was that their families can't come visit them on campus, and that's hard. I mean, they look forward to that consistency of a schedule, and one of those things, and one of the most endearing things that they have was to be able to see their family from just occasionally, at least. Well, that's stopped. So we had to close the school down, or we didn't have to. It was, mandated by the state that they were closing the schools because we have a school on campus that is ran by the Newton School District, USD 373. So we had to shut the school down. And so it really confined them to
Mhm.
their cottages that they stay in. Um, they couldn't leave the campus because of the coronavirus and the risk that is out there. And basically everything's closed that we would take them off campus. The zoo's closed, the theaters are closed, the
Mhm.
YMCA is closed. So they became, frustrated, rightfully so, because of all that freedom that they did have was taken away. And then they were just getting bored. I mean, that was the direct
Mhm.
comment from the residential director was their board. So you mentioned, okay, well, what comes out of this? So we went, KSN was very, very accommodating with a story. We had posted online that we were needing bikes and scooters and games for our kids. And KSN did a story for us 2 weeks ago. And then we did social posting, the needs for our kids on campus during this time. And we've had a huge outpouring from people. I mean, we got every one of those girls a bike or a scooter.
Wow.
I continue to get emails and texts from people that say, hey, I've got some craft items, I've got some games for the girls, can you come by and pick them up? And so we've actually, one of our staff members has a daughter that's in college, and so she has some time on her hands because college is closed. I mean, she's still doing online, and so she has stepped up and is picking up those items for us, and she's picking those up all the way through Friday. And so that's the positive that come out of it. I mean, your show is on the bright side, and that's on the bright side. We hear so many times about the bad in the world, but our donors and our people that are out there that hear the needs that we have and understand the walk of a foster child, they always step up. I mean, at Christmas, we do a program called Christmas Connection. It's very similar to the Angel Tree, and it's just amazing how people step up and just meet the needs of those in need.
Well, and I think what's unique about our current climate is that there's a broader sector of the community that has time to listen. Even for a lot of nonprofits who had support and good support, I think that you will all find that your support will be more diversified after, because there are more ears in the community listening, because we just have time. We have time to hear needs, and we have time to meet some of those needs. And I might not be able to write you a big check, but I love that I would be able to give you a bicycle. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And hearing that, because really what the community needs to understand, and it's what I'm glad that KSN did a story for you, because I don't think the media is putting enough voice on trying to redirect that time. It's a commodity I have to give as a member of the community. And so what can I do at that time? And there are lots of nonprofits who are serving clientele, and probably most of them, the clientele isn't diminished. It's probably increasing. You will have more kids in foster care. There are more needs that your organization will have, not less. There is no pause button for you. And what I find extraordinary in all the nonprofits I'm interacting with is how quickly you guys are pivoting to continue to serve, just like that. To me, it's as extraordinary as the school systems who, on a flip of a dime, had to change exactly what they were delivering, a completely different methodology. So I find it extraordinary what you guys are doing.
We're trying. I mean, and all the nonprofits have done a great job. I mean, I see a lot of stuff coming, via email, social media, of things that they're, because one of the articles that I read from the Kansas Children's Foundation was, we're still here. We're still here to support those that are in need. And that's our big thing is, we continually reach out to residential, and don't forget, we also serve over 200 foster families throughout the state of Kansas. And they have needs too, because when the school closed or the school's closing down, that meant additional childcare that they had to step up for. It meant for additional food, because one of those meals per day were coming from the school.
Right.
If not two, if they, had breakfast and lunch. And so, we're doing those things for the foster families, or setting in motion things that we're going to do for the foster families throughout the month of April for sure, and then however long it needs to be. I mean, we're not going away. We're gonna be there, and so we still need more bikes. We took care of the 48 girls on campus, but I was talking to a foster care worker Monday, I think it was, and we have a foster family that has 4 kids. You can have 4 as your max. Well, they got 1 bike, and so they're all girls, ages 8 to 13, I think it was, and so they're taking turns on this bike. Well, they're home more, and so if you can get them out and get them on the bikes and
That's right.
stuff, and they're not sharing. So we need more bikes still. So,
Okay.
and we're working on that. But if anybody, I mean, a nice used bike, it doesn't have to be new, but if it's a nice used bike, boys and girls, we have boys in our foster families too. Our campus is girls only, but of the 1,000, we last year supported a little over almost 1,100 kids totally, and so those are boys and girls. So the
That's
need.
fantastic. Well, I'll make sure that I'll post your contact information, email, phone number at the end of the video too, so that people can figure out where to drop things off. I think that's a great call. As a nonprofit, can you tell me what you think one of the most important business decisions that you guys made that could maybe be helpful to other organizations?
Oh, wow. I'm just the community relations and marketing director, so I don't make a lot of business decisions. I think one of the things that we really amped up was applying for grants during this time. And yesterday we just had a grant come through, and I'm remiss that I can't remember who it was, and I apologize. It was a $4,700 grant that during this time, it was a crisis grant that we were able to garner. And so I think, us looking out for those type of opportunities was a good business decision. I think a good business decision was that, we are doing a soft touch to all of our churches, to all of our donors of some sort, because their anxiety is just as high as me personally. And so it's amazing when you get on the phone with some of these people that they want to talk, because they're isolated and they're concerned. And yes, they're concerned about the needs and what's happening with us, and they're including us in their prayers. But we got to remember, that we got to give back too, whether that's a prayer request that they may have, or if it's just some time to spend with them on the phone. I've talked to some of these donors on the phone as they've come in, because they'll email us and say, hey, I've got some stuff, and I'll call to reach out for pickup time. And my average phone call is 12 to 15 minutes with those people. But, it's kind of a pseudo business decision, but I think, you got to stay in touch with your donors.
I mean, that really fits the relational question anyway, because it's really about, for most nonprofits, it's about relationships anyway. And so maintaining that in this challenging environment, and staying connected, because this too will pass, and that's what all of this is about, is looking forward to, right? We're looking forward to the donors, the stock market going back up, and their businesses flourishing again, and all of those things happening. So staying in contact and connectivity, and like you said, caring about everybody else's ebb and flow, not just my own. And that's really important, right? And I will tell you, what's really interesting, especially in the faith-based community, is that there are churches who are seeing increase, as well as other nonprofits also, and it's part of that. Let's cheer that on, because all of that's good for us.
Our in-kind donations are going to go up in April.
Absolutely.
Just because of the need that we had. I mean,
that's right.
We wouldn't have needed 48 bikes and scooters. But now, our in-kind donations are going to go up with crafts and board games and things like that.
I think that's incredible. And it's also a way, in that relational connectivity for the girls, the 48 girls that doing bike rides together and playing board games, what a different relational interaction than they have had previously.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they would have been to school and then going back and do homework, and now this has created a more, relationship building opportunity for them.
Well, tell me also from your personal perspective, what is your on the bright side that you see for yourself or for the community or the organization or all three?
Um, you know, I think on the bright side, to answer all three of that, it's caused everyone to sit back and reflect and think about how you will do business, how you will attack life moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
because this has definitely put a big speed bump in everything. And I think that that everybody will just appreciate things more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we live in a country that takes things for granted. You
That's
know,
right.
I mean, my YMCA is closed. You know, and you know, it's just you always knew that was going to be there, and you wanted to go out and do something, and you didn't think twice about it. You just went and did it. And, well, now you're checking to see if the store is even open. If
Mm-hmm.
the restaurant, well, the restaurants are closed. You know, can I do pickup there? You know, you've had to adjust, but then I think it also causes you to reflect. I mean, it's just, you know, people are talking about, you know, when they see the number 2020 in the coming years, whether it's, you know, your bill is 2020, you're going to go, oh my gosh, 2020, what a
Mm-hmm.
year. And so I think that's the bright side of it, is that we'll come out and we'll appreciate things more. We'll be more friendly, I think, you know, because, you know, it's the old saying that, you know, sometimes we don't stop and smell the roses, and sometimes we don't even see the roses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we'll start seeing the roses more.
I do too. I really, I keep saying over and over again that this spirit of gratefulness and neighborliness and um, pause is
Uh-huh.
worth taking, and that we, you know, I'm just as guilty as the next person that I love the hustle of life and I love being Mach 5 with my hair on fire. Um,
No, you
really?
really
Shock face
pick me up
emoji.
off the floor.
That's right. Um, and that taking the pause and the time to have self-reflection does create a space that I wasn't giving the opportunity for, and there are creative things that come out of it. This comes out of it. And you know, even if all these conversations are just for two or three people, they help me,
Yep,
right?
good. Yep,
And that's the whole purpose. If it's just a couple that benefit, that's enough.
mhm,
And it's for the right reason. So I do think it's an appreciation for a different space time continuum than I enjoyed before,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. And like you said, what someone was mentioning earlier too, and it made me actually kind of picture open palms, that sometimes we hold tight to things in our lives and we hold tight to schedules and routine, and we're being forced to open palm.
yeah,
It's not just a feeling of a loss of control. It's really just uncertainty, unknown. It's all those words together in a pot stirred up.
yeah,
And how are we going to land? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
let's land with a smile on our face and at least enjoy our neighbors a little bit more in the meantime.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was questioning because there people are talking about this, uh, forgetting what day it is or not knowing what day it is, and it's exactly to your point, because we had this routine. We knew what
Hmm.
happened on Monday, we knew what happened on Tuesday, and down the line, and now it's like Groundhog's Day. It's kind of every day's the same.
It is, except the day the trash picks up. That's all
Yep, yep.
still.
Hey, that's today at my house, by the way.
That's right. It wasn't mine too, because you even removed, church on Sunday in a way that,
Yeah,
even though there's online platforms, and so right there's no the anchor to the week is completely shifted, and so how we interact, how we find that solidarity in time is for everyone. Um, I keep finding over and over again in conversation positive interactions with people who are uncovering things in their own heart and seeing life in a whole new perspective. And that is really encouraging to me.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree. I mean, yeah, I try to I try to be kind more. I mean, you know, I even thinking about just out driving, out and about, you know, because people's minds are so busy that, you know, with everything that, you know, if somebody cuts me off, you know, their mind's busy. If somebody, you know, misses a stoplight, hopefully they don't hit me, but it's like, hey, give them a break. I mean, they've got a million things swirling in their head right now. So
That's true. I am really grateful for your time this morning. And again, I will post the information following this that you can contact and send donations or call and see what other needs they have remaining, possibly their particular ages or sizes of bikes or genders that they're really needing more than others. So if you're really concerned, or you just have bikes in your garage that your kids have outgrown,
yeah,
that's it. And we've all discovered that, you know, hey, let's get outside. And all of a sudden we have things that we can't use anymore because we weren't doing that before. So
yeah.
it's a great opportunity to take those things to Emberhope Youthville. So thank you, Jeff Nelson. This is Janice Perkins with Capacity. Thanks for tuning in.